I call the March 19th Board of Public Affairs meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everyone. John, would you do the roll call, please?
Karen Ford,
Present.
Annette Schreiner,
Yes.
Jim Salsbury,
Yes.
Dick Long,
President.
Bob Eyre.
Yes.
All present.
Thank you. First thing on the agenda is to review the minutes of the March 5th Board of Public Affairs meeting. Is there any discussion or questions, comments, or corrections? If not, I'll accept the motion.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Dick,
Yes.
Annette,
Yes.
Karen,
Yes,
Jim,
Yes.
and Bob.
Yes.
thank you. Next is a hearing of public concerns. Anyone have anything to comment? Okay. At this time, I would like to present something to the public and other entities. I'd like to address the recent request that has been made to return 2 recordings of the Board of Public Affairs and Bryan City Council. With the Board of Public Affairs meeting averaging 69 views, the requirement of additional investments after review of Williams County communities and surrounding areas, only Napoleon and Defiance provide both audio and video, and information is also available by attending the meetings, listening to audio recordings, reading official minutes, and reading the local newspapers. In being financially responsible and for cybersecurity purposes, we will continue with audio recordings only. Thank you. Next on the agenda is the Clerk-Treasurer's Report. John?
Yeah, the board has been in receipt of all the same things we pass out. The financial information you get for the month ending February 29th, bank statements, bank reconciliation, and financial information on EMU activity. If there are any questions, I'd entertain them, or if not this evening, you can all call me anytime.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve. I'll second.
Dick?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Annette?
Yes.
And Bob.
Yes.
Next is a request to hire water superintendents. Trish?
All right. I'm requesting to reclassify Jimmy Dunning from Operations Manager to Probationary Water Superintendent effective April 1st, 2024. Jimmy has prior experience serving as Water Superintendent. He is able to perform all job duties, function, and meets all the requirements. Thank you.
Comments? Discussion?
Question I have, so Jimmy decided to take a pay cut, and so do you have to replace an operations manager?
That'll be, excuse me, part of our ongoing discussions moving forward.
Okay.
Jimmy did an excellent job when he was there before, so.
Good.
We need to keep him around. I'll make a motion to accept.
I'll second it.
Jim?
Yes.
Annette?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Dick?
Yes.
And Bob.
Yes.
Next is a discussion on the cityofbryan.net email service. Gary?
So we got a couple slides prepared for you tonight to talk about the cityofbryan.net email accounts. Just to first start off, kind of important to talk about what an email service provider is. And that's a company that offers email addresses, sending and receiving of email, and also hosting space for your account's inbox. The communications department has essentially been operating as an email service provider since the internet service began in the early 2000s. These email accounts were originally offered as an incentive to subscribe to the DMU internet service. And not today, and even when it originated, was the email accounts factored into the rate packages, so it was just an incentive. Managing email accounts has been labor intensive, not only for the help desk, but also for our staff. They field many of calls, they assist customers with setting up computers or new phones or iPad, whatever device they may have. To talk about the email accounts and how that relates to the internet packages, residential packages have an offer of 5 email accounts, small and large business have 20 email accounts, and web hosting, which we aren't doing, has unlimited accounts. When we run some reports, we have some estimated account numbers. It is kind of a tough number to really nail down, but the latest report had about 716 total accounts were created since the early 2000s, and these are email accounts. Of that 716, it appears as though 316 are active, and by active, we mean they have received an email within the last 30 days. That doesn't mean the account was logged into or used, but it did receive an email. 251 of those are residential accounts. We believe that the ones that are actually active and customers are using is far less than that number, but that's what the breakdown is. 65 business accounts, that's not 65 individual businesses, that's just 65 email addresses under business packages. And really over the last several years, probably 5+ years, we've created very few new accounts. We do talk to the customers when they sign up for the service, but if you have an internet service, you sign up for an email account. If you switch providers, you lose that email account and you lose that data in that email account. So very few over the last several years have actually taken up that offer. So why are we having the discussion? Really this centers around what we call the iMail server. This server is where those cityofbryan.net addresses live. That server is original to offering the internet service and the email service. It is end of support, and with no support, we'd no longer be able to offer or manage those email accounts. I know Joe and his team have done a lot of work to keep it running, but as that support ends, we won't be able to offer those. This does tie into the Barracuda license that we've talked about over the last several weeks. This was essentially the spam filter that's used for email. We did purchase license renewals for the cityofbryan.com addresses. Those addresses are what the utility operations and all the city operations use. Those licenses are purchased in blocks. So we would need to purchase an additional 227 licenses to cover the cityofbryan.net addresses. That cost was about $8,100. Knowing that our server is end of support, and we had a very short time frame to continue with these email accounts, we just felt it was an unnecessary expense. We did look into an additional application that could filter spam, but then you have the burden of operating 2 different systems and 2 different sets of licenses. We've also requested from our vendor to provide us with a quote to cover these 227 licenses for a shorter time frame. We're still waiting to hear back from them. So what we're really after tonight is a direction from the board, knowing that the server is end of support. It'd be difficult to continue with those email accounts. We don't need any official action tonight, but we would like to bring back a resolution to the board for your consideration to remove the offering of the email accounts. That's what's in the rate structure. And then also end the service of the emails July 31st of 2024. This would allow our customers about 3 months to migrate to a different email provider. We understand that there may be some customers that have had these email accounts for many years, and they're a bit of a challenge and a headache to migrate to a new email provider. We also looked at another option, which was called CityMail, which would be a new or different way for us to host email. It's a little bit more expensive than our current application. And then for a customer to migrate from cityofbryan.net to this new CityMail, it would be about $150 an hour for CityMail to help us in that process of migrating customers over, so it would be quite a challenge. If the board did want to go in this direction, as far as notifying our customers, we would be able to send multiple emails to the cityofbryan.net addresses. We could also send letters. We could place notification of the utility bill, information on the website. As far as the customer goes, they wouldn't be required to do anything. They could notify us once they migrated to a different host, but it's not necessary. It would give us a chance to kind of track and monitor how many people have. A few alternate email host providers. These are all free. For a residential customer, Gmail, Outlook.com, AOL, and Yahoo Mail are kind of the top 4 recommended free ones. And then also for a small business, for a domain provider, Microsoft 365 or Google Workspace. Also right now, our inbox has a storage of 50 megabytes. That's about 6 to 9 pictures anymore. Gmail and Outlook are offering 15 gigabytes, and Yahoo Mail offers 1 terabyte, and those are all free services. If you have any questions or comments, Joe's here, you can help with.
Quick question. Can you review how we communicate that to our customers?
So we would be able to send multiple emails to those email addresses, and the thought is if they're active and they're using it, they will get it. Like I said, we can maybe do it monthly, every 2 weeks, but we would certainly get that to them. The email accounts, we would be able to pull the addresses, send a letter. We can also place notifications on the utility bills through the clerk's office. We can post information on the website.
On the cityofbryan.com and the .net, what's the difference and how many people are on the .com?
So .com is utility operations and city operations.
Oh, okay.
And then the .net would be the customer.
Oh, okay.
So in going this route, because we had to make a decision, we opted to save more than half the cost it would have cost us for everyone by just keeping the .com portion.
For the licenses.
For the licenses,
Yes.
that is correct, yeah, for the block of licenses. Especially when we don't know how many of those accounts are just accounts that people are looking at on a daily or weekly basis or however often. We don't know how many of those accounts are actually being used.
Correct.
But we estimate 316, or, yeah. So we're kind of guessing at that. So without knowing, that is probably the wisest for the budget, best decision to make.
And when do you start communication to these folks?
So what we would, with your direction, we would bring a resolution at the next meeting with those proposed changes to the rules and regulations. After you approve those changes, then we would start notifying customers.
About 3 months?
I would hope that we could bring that to you at the next meeting,
Yeah.
which would allow the
I was
customer
saying,
then 3
the
months.
communication to the customer will
3
be
months.
about 3 months. That seems appropriate.
Any other questions?
How long would they have to take to change their email address from .net to like Google or Outlook or AOL?
I mean, I think you could probably set up your own account relatively quickly.
In a day,
Yeah.
so they
You
could
set
do
up
it.
your account probably.
So we don't have a drop dead cutoff date then?
We would like it to be ended by July 31st.
Okay.
What happens after July 31st? No communication?
Several will be disabled.
Okay, so they won't get anything.
But our equipment is estimated to last at least that long. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. Next on the agenda is an update and review of unbilled services.
So we, again, just some informational slides, unbilled service updates for 2023. Here you can see a lot of the different categories. I'm not going to read through all of them, but in the next couple slides, we'll take a look at each one of them. This is for the municipal utility unbilled service. Street lights, there's roughly about 1,661 streetlights that account for unbilled service. It's about $92,000 for 2023. The utility departments, that's DMU, that's our water treatment plant, substation, power plant, etc. So the utility departments account for about $360,000 of unbilled service. Parks, pools, and recreation is just that, the parks, the pools, amphitheaters, restrooms, drinking fountains, those items. That's about $129,000 for 2023. The Bryan Community Center, about $6,800. The municipal departments, that's your city building and facilities, your wastewater treatment plant, police and fire, etc. And that's about $491,000 of unbilled service. And then we also have traffic signals. There's approximately 26 signalized intersections within the city. And that accounts for about $13,000. There's the total for each service at the bottom there for electric, water, and communications. And then also a total municipal unbilled service of just over $1 million. In comparison to 2022, it was about $500 more, so pretty consistent from 2022.
How much more?
$500. Taking a look at the non-municipal utility, Bryan City Schools, electric and communications. The electric comes from football lights, concession stands, crosswalks. And the communication is that we provide them with 3 dark fiber locations. That's about $18,000 a year. Williams County, we do provide electric service to several tornado sirens, as well as some of the courthouse lights. And then we also provide a dark fiber connection for the courthouse. Again, that's about $5,900. Bryan Chamber events, for the Jubilee Day in the Park, about $2,400. The bar fountain is $6,300, which in the next couple slides, we'll look at that in a little more detail. And then other, we have about $9,000. So, total non-municipal utility unbilled service for 2023 was about $41,000. Any questions there? Okay, so the bar fountain, as I mentioned, Board of Public Affairs passed Resolution 38 in 2013, which authorized the free service for the fountain for 20 years. In the resolution, it was stated that it had to be reevaluated every 5 years with a maximum cost not to exceed $5,000 for electric and water costs. In 2013, that annual cost was estimated at about $3,500. In 2014, the fountain was installed on the northeast corner of the courthouse square. It was constructed using donated funds from Bard Manufacturing to commemorate their 100th anniversary. And since 2014, BMU's provided unbilled water and electric service. Again, the 5-year review is required. The board did a review in 2019, and so here we are 5 years later and reviewing the information again. This is just a snapshot of the last 5 years of what the total unbilled service has been. 2019, just a little over $6,000. 2020, about $5,300. $6,300 in 2021, $5,122, and about $6,300 in 2023. If you have any questions or comments, we can answer them. I think the board has the ability to take no action, but
On the total cost, I don't know how to ask this. I mean, the cost is right there, obviously. And everything is metered. I guess what I'm asking is, has the total usage gone up significantly? Or are we seeing increases in rates here? Or I remember, I think one year they had a maintenance issue and they had to close it down, drain it, and refill it. And,
as far as electric use goes, you should have this last sheet.
Okay.
Your board packet. It shows the usage.
I got you, okay, thank you.
For the past 5 years, it's, probably
Okay.
been somewhat consistent. It was about 46,000 kilowatts last year.
Okay. Thank you, I guess I need to look ahead.
Question.
Quick question. The resolution said 5,000 total limit.
Yes.
And I look here every year, we over that, so it just,
Correct. So I think the board has several options. The board could take no action, and this can serve as your 5-year review. If you wanted to remove the $5,000 annual cost, you could. Or if you wanted to increase the $5,000, you could as well. Do that through a resolution.
so what happens when it goes above 5,000 like the last 5 years? Just
As of right now, nothing.
okay.
Yeah, because when we talked about it, of course, the 5 years is now up, that we would revisit it. I noticed that it's quite a bit higher than 5,000. Is there a reason? Have we had any conversation with them at all to try to understand? Because I'm looking at the electric and the water usage, and I mean, over the 5 years, it's pretty much.
I mean, I think like Jim mentioned, I believe one year they had some maintenance issues with it.
Correct.
That was one of the spikes. I don't know the exact schedule for operating it, but I would have to believe some of it is weather dependent. Maybe they can run it a little bit longer in the fall, depending on the weather. Maybe they start it earlier in the spring. I don't know the exact schedule.
So if you take the last 5 years, $6,000 is approximately what would capture 3 to 5 years on the coverage. And anything above that,
I wonder how realistic we were when we set that up at 5,000, because it's
You
what,
probably didn't know.
the third year we exceeded $5,000.
Yeah, I think 2014 was probably a partial year with construction, but 2015 and 16 were under.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 17, they broke $5,000.
And it started in 18, it jumped right up.
Yeah.
That was probably the year of the maintenance then, with the water, the gallons of water.
Yeah. Well, they had that water leak.
Yeah, they had a leak they were dealing with
They
for a
get down
while.
in there, fix it. It was a tight fit for them to get down in there, if I remember right.
the gum didn't work.
Yeah. Because I noticed they were, of course, they lighted up, and we had a discussion with them, oh, I want to say that was a year and a half ago, about not leaving it on, you know. And I see it stays on longer and longer, when weather permitting.
Yeah, we had an issue with that here not too long ago, didn't we, where they were trying to determine the on and off times.
Yeah.
I remember.
I think they were going till 11 PM, and I wondered if that wasn't a little too late, you know, as far as the
Yeah,
town settling down and less traffic going
And
through
all
to
that's,
see it.
all that's seasonal.
sure.
True.
Yeah.
There was, on social media this weekend, there was a comment, when does the bar
There,
fountain
yeah.
get
Yeah,
turned on?
yeah.
And there was a couple comments in reply
Yeah.
from residents, not us, but I know they're getting anxious. It's a sign of spring when you
Throw
see
their
that.
pennies in there and make wishes. You know?
But we should probably do something, because we did decide 10 years ago what to do. And we've been gracious and kind enough to accept what is happening, even though we have this agreement for $5,000. So we should probably decide what to do, figure out what we want to do, and contact them and let them know as well. We don't know what they're willing to do at this point.
How are the repairs and things like that, how are they funded for that?
So my understanding is Bryan Development, they take care of the maintenance, the minor maintenance, the chemical, the day-to-day operations of it. And then anything outside of that, the Bryan Area Foundation assists with.
Be easy enough to open up communications then. Get them together on it as well.
That'd probably be a good idea.
Question? That one, question?
I would think that the chamber, the business economic development people, all the people downtown, the businesses, would probably like to see that that fountain still operating, and because it's next to the courthouse, it is a focal point of the downtown area, and they're trying to develop that downtown area. So, if you took a common viewpoint from everybody around that courthouse, they would say that's an important piece of their advertisement. And also for tourists and people that come in, because it's next to the courthouse, it's the biggest thing on the.
I do think it's going to be there for a very long time. It's just we should clean up our end
Yeah,
and
I agree.
decide what we want to
Yeah.
do with the $5,000 limit.
Correct.
Yep, yep.
Maintenance is going to be an ongoing thing for that part, but that's already taken care of elsewhere, so we wouldn't have to worry about that. It's just the amount of water and going over the $5,000 limit. If our water meter goes up, we assume a leak and can go check it out, I mean, that would be one of the things for us to do, but
I do think we need to keep some kind of control on it. I mean, if we need to adjust the maximum cost, I think we can do that, but I think we need to not just give them an open-ended offer.
That's why I think it would be great to have a conversation with them and just see what, just have a conversation. What are they doing different today than they did last year? And so we could make a decision whether to get somebody else to chip in more money or increase the amount.
We can
reduce the hours of operation or something, yeah.
I'll give you some additional information.
How much evaporation is going on, it's getting hotter outside, you gotta find out what's going on.
Yeah.
Get some more details.
Okay. Thanks, sir.
Next on the agenda is to effect the semi-monthly disbursements. Thank you for an update on the presentation of this report. This is the report that lists all of our expenses.
I'm sorry, something came to mind, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Go back on the, stupid question, how many gallons in a cubic foot?
7.48.
7.5?
Roughly, yeah.
Okay, thank you, I'm sorry, that came to my mind. Sorry to interrupt.
Any comments on the presentation of this? Do you see any additions or changes that you would like to see on this report for future reference? You see the legend at the bottom refers to the department that the expenses come from for the appropriate period of time. I'm hoping it makes it easier for you to see
Where it's going.
who's
Who's spending the money?
who encumbered
Yeah.
the money, who's being paid, what department is being paid through. If no discussion, I will entertain a motion to approve the disbursements.
I'd like to make a motion, we pay the bills.
I'll second it.
Thank you.
Dick,
Yes.
Annette,
Yes.
Karen,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
and Bob.
Yes.
Next on the agenda, comments from the committee and staff. Bob, why don't you start us out again?
Thank you, Karen, and thank you for the honor. On the bottom. I think, like I said before, the barred fountain, I said before, I think it's a focal point next to the courthouse, and I think that all opinions need to be evaluated. And I agree with Karen and the board. There has to be a balance versus unlimited. And at the same time, also recognize that BARD's a very important community company in our area here. And obviously, we all know the opportunities that we try to bring people and value here to the city of Bryan. And so these are things that we have to all weigh in making that decision. So look forward to that discussion. So thank you.
Dick?
Really don't have anything. Thank you.
My turn?
Yes, Jim?
No, I don't have much to add either, other than, yeah, I think we need to look closely at this usage on the free service. That's all.
Annette?
Well, I guess I'll speak, I guess congratulations to Jimmy on his new assignment. So we'll miss him sitting up here. Looking forward to more discussion on the email service and the unbilled services.
Thank you. I also congratulate Jimmy on his desire to take the Water Superintendent position. And congratulate Josh Dalton on the end of his probation. Now that he is part of the equipment maintenance department. So I hear good things about his work. A lot from all the departments. And so congratulations to Josh. And I'm looking also forward to what's happening with the communication department and the Bard Fountain. And I want to say thank you to Bards for wanting that fountain up there, and that it did work through where it is. Kind of started a revolution maybe that now look, Spangler's has got our tower, and well, you know, who knows what else will come from and make Bryan a community known for certain things. So it's interesting. Great. That's about it. Thanks, Gary.
I'd just like to provide a little bit of an update. About a month or so ago, we came to the board asking if we could submit to AMP's concept paper for their GRIP grant. The project we submitted was an upgrade to the Lawrence substation. AMP has heard back from the Department of Energy, and they were invited to the full application, so our project is included in there. They asked for a lot of additional information that Jim and Al provided that. We submitted that to them last week. AMP has to submit the full application by April 17th. And then we would expect notice of awards sometime around December or January. So hopeful that we get a notice of award.
Keep your fingers crossed.
I do have a quick question for you. With the tornadoes that went through Mid-Ohio, was there any request for mutual assistance?
There was request for mutual aid, but not for us. There was other communities that responded that were kind of in that sector, in that area. So there were several AMP communities that did go assist, yes.
John?
You know, I don't normally, but I would say, in regards to Josh Dalton, he helped us out at in the finance office a week or so ago. Or the vehicle we have had a leaking fuel tank. My gosh, he came down, he picked up the vehicle, he took it in, he ordered the tank, he installed the tank, he brought the car back to us. It was phenomenal service, and I appreciated it.
Good to hear. He does have talents that we didn't know at the time he was hired in.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Trish?
I have nothing.
Joe? Bryan? Times?
Just get out and vote if you haven't already. There you go.
Awesome. John? Okay. Thanks for coming. Mr. Betts?
Oh. I did that before.
You were thinking that, John?
Wrong, my bad. I'm sorry. Too many Johns. No, thank you.
Okay. All right. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting if there's nothing further.
I'll second.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'm gonna give that Jim,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Karen,
Yes.
Annette.
Yes.
Yes.